Thank you very much for being with us today. Okay. So the
Yeah.
seminar is a general information seminar. So the first, I'm lucky that I have two of our students who have been accepted. Okay, and two colleagues as well. So Nama and Ariane. By the way, Ariane Shandak, you can also answer questions if you want. Okay, because you have decided to apply for a program without the GMAT. Alors, basically,
Yeah,
Nama.
yeah.
Yeah, Nama. So, what does the admission? Alors, Nama has been accepted to London Business School. Okay. Maybe Nama, you can introduce yourself in 1 minute.
Yeah. Um, Hello, everyone. Dr. Hubert, thank you for having me here today. Uh, I am Nama and I come from Pune, India. Uh, while I was at your stage about a couple of months back, while I was applying to London Business School, uh, I've done my graduation from Symbiosis International University, Pune. I had applied to LBS in round one, and yes, it was a robust process within which I received utmost guidance, and yes, I was able to get in the round one itself.
Okay. So that's the
Yeah.
that's the thing. And what about you, Ariane? Can you introduce yourself as well?
Yes. So first of all, thank you, Dr. Yuba, for this opportunity. And yeah, I am Aryan. I am also from Pune, and I did my undergrad in commerce. And with the guidance of Dr. Hubert, I applied to Warwick Business School in the first route itself. I got in, and yeah, that's it.
By the way, you all followed your own way. So you applied to one school and got in, fortunately. So you did what should not be done. So you applied just to one school, but you were probably so confident that you decided maybe that on round two or three you apply to more schools. Alors, basically in Namar, since you had to take the GRE, so the process that you have followed was a bit tougher than the one that Ariane did, without of course taking any prejudice against Ariane. So how long? What is the process, and how long does it take?
Okay, so for me, it took about 4 months of serious studies and robust question solving. It was under your guidance, as you were my coach. You very well explained to me the two major sections of the GRE. There are two sections, and for them to be catered at quite sufficient time, you are required to solve as many questions for quantitative ability and verbal reasoning, both for you to clear the GRE. And for me, it was quite a roller coaster ride. I did not book my test until I was receiving good scores within my mock tests as guided by you, Dr. Hubert. And once I received my targeted scores, then only I'd book my test and I gave my GRE.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for you, it was a bit shorter, Ariane, because you joined MD Center in August, because you didn't have to take the GMAT and the GRE. Why have you decided to take such a risk? Because of course, when you don't take the GMAT or the GRE, you limit the number of schools. For instance, you cannot apply for the MIM of HEC, INSEAD, ESSEC, ESCP as an Indian. You cannot apply anything for most MIF. So what was your process, and why have you decided not to take the GMAT to apply for non-GMAT GRE school?
Right. So while Nama took the GMAT and GRE, I, on the other hand, went from the IELTS route. There's no specific reason of not taking GMAT GRE except the fact that I was a little busy with my job and the studies during the undergrad, and the process was relatively simpler with the guidance of Dr. Hubert, as the SOP. There are four main components, I would say, if you are going without GMAT. So first of all, you need a strong academic record, and then a great statement of purpose, and a good IELTS score. I guess would help, definitely help. And the process, it took around 3 months of rigorous back and through. So yeah.
Okay. Alors, so basically, what you have to understand, I see that, for instance, there's Lionel with here. Lionel left. Okay. So can you ask Lionel either to come or to stay? And Ayushman is in class with us, so he knows the process. The first thing is the GMAT and the GRE. Okay. If you don't have a good GMAT and GRE, forget it. Okay. So you need a very good GMAT score, if or GRE score. GRE in the case of Nama, GMAT in the case of Ayushman, because the GMAT and the GRE will have few different shapes. Okay, especially I see a lot of Indians here. Okay, except Lionel, especially when you come from India, because as you know, there are a lot of applicants from India. So you have to have a good GMAT, a good GRE. I would say minimum 680 in the new in the old scale, which is 635 in the new scale, and on the GRE, minimum 325 and more like 330. Bon. Okay, so first thing, you need to get a good GMAT and a GRE. It's like if you want to be a tennis champion, you have to run fast and you have to be tough. Okay, if you're not physically strong, you will not be a tennis champion. So if you don't have a good GMAT GRE, forget about it. There will be no top business school. Second of all, the profile is also very important. Okay. So for the program, for the profile, so school, they want two things. They want the right fit, okay, and I will tell you what it is, and also someone who can contribute, okay. So for instance, when they took Nama, they want someone intelligent, who has already some type of work experience, was involved in school. So basically, yeah, that's it. And the contribution is that he's an entrepreneur in education, so he has something that the others do not have, because you see that in most of these masters, people they want to go in investment banking or in consulting. Okay, so basically you have to fit, and also basically also how will you fit with the other students? So the fit is an intellectual fit, is the fit with the team, is the contribution in class, can be international exposure, so many things. Okay, and of course you have to contribute. That's why when you write the application together, I'm sure that I make sure that there's a unique value proposition. So when they read your application, they must say, ah yes, the guy who, okay, in one sentence, okay, and the message has to be pretty straightforward. Okay. So that's it. And there is of course others. Okay. So first, if you have also network with the school, if you apply at the right time, okay, so early enough, it's a plus. So for instance, in the case of Nama and Ariane, remember that in July we organized a one-on-one with HEC, ESSEC, SCP, so it allows you to contact the school. Okay, so it's a whole. Okay, they will not take you just because you have a good GMAT. They will not take you just because you're international. They will not take you just because you know the school. They take you because of it's of a global package. Okay. Wow. Alors, so I would like to stop here. I would like to have a Q&A before we talk about the school themselves. Okay, because you're going to see that MD Center is the #1 provider for LBS MIM. I think this year we'll have close to 50 students. INSEAD MIM, about 20 students. INSEAD has less success. ESCP, close to 100. Okay, so we are very strong with LBS, ESCP, INSEAD. Okay, so then the ESSEC, not bad. Okay, and much weaker with, for instance, HEC, because HEC is very demanding. So it's very difficult. HEC, if you get already 15 students per year, you cannot get more than 15 per year. Okay, and we'll see that also start to send quite a few to the US. Okay. So, alors questions. Alors Rade. So Rade, you're my student. So what questions have you got for us, Rade? Rade? Hello, Rade.
Hello, sir.
You want to ask me?
So I want to ask
Nama,
Nama that
yeah?
what were your goals and what were your strategies while preparing for GRE?
Okay. Thank you for your question, Radhe. Firstly, you have to be clear with your study schedule. You have to, devote equal times for your both of your sections. I very well knew that what were my strengths and the weaknesses, like at a very early stage. Uh, we were able to figure out what are the topics that I was already good with and what are the topics I needed assistance with, or what are the topics I needed more practice with. So after I did my analysis of my own, then I started to solve questions with Dr. Hubert, and he finally told me that yes, this is the path to go, and these are the tests to take. After I was done with both quants and verbal, then I switched on to analytical writing. Just about a week before my exam, I devoted not more than 5 to 6 days for the analytical writing section, which was pretty much I got a 4 pointer in that. Uh, Rest everything was just more of practice and more number of mock tests before even booking my test and giving it finally. Yes,
Yeah.
that was about it.
Okay,
That's
okay. Thank you very much.
that's a great. Of course, I was very surprised by the score of Nama. I knew that you would do well, but of course, he scored very, very high. Paul, I don't know you, Paul. I think that we're in contact via LinkedIn, probably. So you understand. So Nama has been accepted to the LBS MIM, and Ariane to the Warwick Business School MIM. And I wanted to have them both because one took the GRE and the other one didn't take any test because he didn't want to apply. So, hello, Paul. So I'm sure.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So you're French, obviously. So what questions have you got for us, Paul? Tell me.
So yeah, I want to ask Namar, what's the process of the classes with Dr. Hubert, and how did how did that help you with your high score?
Okay. So there are two things what Dr. Hubert caters to. First is your entire application process. The application process starts after you are done with your test. All right. So the test, for me, I selected GRE, and it was both weekend classes and private tutoring for me. When I started with my preparations, it was the first, it was the analysis of where I am currently and what is my goal to achieve my targeted schools. While I set a score for myself, Dr. Hubert gave me certain assistance and questions at each level. We cleared it section wise. First, we took care of verbal, then the quants. GRE mostly is trickier, in questioning verbal reasoning. Then we moved on to quants, and it was mostly weekend classes. And in the entire week, I had a planner what to do when. So it was quite easy for me. A pathway was already, denoted by Dr. Hubert, and I just had to, walk on that path to get the score. Finally, Dr. Hubert also gave me access to a many number of mock tests. So these mock tests were the game changer for me. Every time I used to give my mock test, I had to sit with Dr. Hubert and analyze where I'm going wrong, where I'm going right, and what to build upon. One thing Hubert had told me that you have to eventually build upon things you are weak in, but you need to strengthen your strengths as well, so that you get a good score at the end. So I kept working on my strengths, did not forget them. Obviously, the weaknesses were to be taken care of, but at the end, the mock tests and the planner provided by him helped to be a game changer.
Yeah. So what you have to see, Paul, even though we have the same service for everybody, that entails test prep and admission consulting and also financing for tools we need. everybody is different. Huh? So, for instance, basically with Nama, yeah, he came to book class, he used the platform. He was not of much, it was not of much work. Okay, he was naturally talented for the GRE, let's say that way. He is very busy with his work, and he did pretty well. And of course, when I saw the score, I thought that you would get 325, something like that. Of course, I was very impressed by his score, but the result is because of him, because of the work that he put, etc. Because
Yeah, of course.
I have students who came to the same class and who scored 322. Okay, still they got the LBS. Okay, so it means that. And then, of course, what was more important with Nama, which is not the same for you, Paul, that Nama comes from a relatively mid-sized city from India, which is Pune, and of course, it doesn't have the the contact that you may have being in France. Probably you have spent, I don't know where you study, but me, I have a lot of students, for instance, at MD Center, who went for the UK after went to the UK after graduation. So they are students at I don't know, Bath, Warwick, the Kings, LSE, UCL, and of course for them it's much easier. For instance, that the papers already. Okay, so to get in. Okay, so basically, one man needed me. I need guidance to say, okay, I live 10,000 kilometers from my dream school. How does it work to go there? Okay, so that's where guidance was needed. What should I write? Because we said that the weakness probably of Nama was more his writing than his test. But sometimes people write very well and people are weaker at tests. I don't know what it is, but it was more work on the admission consulting part. Okay.
Right.
Usually, by the way, Indians they score well on tests. So the assistant is on the admission consulting part because they are not familiar. Even though they all know about this, they all dream of going there. They don't know very well. Basically, they don't understand very well what you need to write. Okay, so what you need to write, and of course, I would say that this year I've written since the beginning of the year, so since let's say late August, something like 120 applications for LBS. Okay, you see that there are companies that outsource that use our admission consulting department because we have full-time people. Okay, so I cannot give the name, but companies that are very well reputed and they charge much more than. What I want to say is that when you have written 120 applications for LBS, okay, yes, there was also for BNB, etc. But we had 25 students who got an interview. So there are 125, 100, let's say 100 meetings in the answer. So it means that you know every line of what has to be written. I can tell you every line, each question, every line, every sentence that they want to read. Okay, I came to this level. Okay, for any question that they have. Okay, you understand? Say the guy, nobody writes more application than him. No, nobody. Okay, so the guy knows exactly, like a tennis player, like Djokovic, and who knows how to play. But him, he knows where he has to put each sentence in the thing. Okay, of course, now for the GMAT or the GRE, you're going to see that we give you a lot of support, but it will depend a lot on your ability to work hard. Okay,
Yeah, of course.
there are people who came with Nama, who got 320, even 315. There was this girl, Roba, who got LBS. She had a 316, okay? And she still got LBS, master in data analytics. So basically, in business analytics. So basically, it will depend a lot. Voilà.
Yeah.
Yourself, Paul, where are you from? Where did you graduate? What do you study now?
I'm from Paris, and I graduated from IE Bachelor, the
Okay.
BBA from IE University in Madrid, and I'm in a gap year.
Okay. So I have from IE, I have many students who go to ESSEC. Many go to ESSEC. Yes, many go to ESSEC. Then they try the rest because, as you know, there's a passport program. I have
That would be really my goal.
10 students from IE applying. So basically, when they have a good GMAT, they apply to LBS, INSEAD, ESSEC, HEC. And when they don't have the GMAT, because we do not pass the GMAT, okay, of the GRE, so we apply to other programs.
Like ESCP, they don't require the
ECP, we apply to Polytechnic, master in finance, they apply, there are many ways. Yeah, many ways. Okay. So I hope that for you, you get, but I have many from IE. By the way, if you're at IE next week, but you already graduated, if you're at IE, the English Center office is Cape Velasquez, so just in front of the IE building, but the master, the building
Yeah,
of the master.
the old one. I
Yeah, the old
used to
one. So
study there. Yeah.
Yeah. So and based 119 Cape Velasquez, so just in front of the office when I'm in Madrid.
Okay.
So now the second thing that I wanted to see with you, alors, Ariane, you already have a question. Where is alors, what are the two others? So Ayushman, you have a question? Ayushman?
No, doctor, I don't. But I'd like to congratulate both of them for getting into their
Yeah.
dreams B school.
Yeah, it's very good. Yes,
Thank you.
we did, I believe
Thanks
we
a
did
lot,
a
Ayushman.
good job. Yeah.
All.
Alors, basically, the second step that I have is in the schools. Okay, and as I told you, I would say that half of the students, 75% of MBA Center students apply to ESCP, LBS, and ESCP. Okay, now ESCP, so ESCP in France, LBS, and Imperial. Okay, because Imperial is not original. Okay, so the three schools what they apply to, and perfectly understand why. So ESCP because of the ranking, because of the network, because of the reputation, because of the quality of the classes. Okay, we understand. LBS because it's London, the quality of the classes. Now it's a bit expensive. So LBS is a bit expensive. Okay. And Imperial College because it's a big name. By the way, did you see that the new dean of Imperial College, if you follow my post with Mr. Cobb, was the dean of HEC before, but he had to resign because he was very sick. Well, he had a cancer. And it's nice to see him now up that he'll be able to interview him. So basically, that's where they go. And where else do they go? Alors, I would say, of course, many people want to go to HEC, but few apply finally because you need a very good GMAT. So if you have a 6.2, they're going to apply to HEC, doesn't make sense. And usually they apply for two programs, namely MIN, MIF. ESSEC, NIN, NIF. You have to see that anyway, no one of the French wants to go to ESSEC because they don't like the university, they don't like Paris. Then we have a few applying for INSEAD. As I told you, we'll have, last year we had 20, but 18 we got accepted. This year we'll have something like 20. But what I see is that the plan is a bit expensive. Some students do not like, they don't want to go to Fontainebleau, they don't like the place, they don't like the format. That's why, according to me, INSEAD will never compete against HEC or against LBS. The number one, by the way, in this sector and cinema is LBS. Okay? No school has more applicants than LBS. Okay? So it's very congratulations for being accepted because it's very difficult. And then few go to IE. Many are Indian students because they want to come to Europe and they don't mind paying so much because it's very expensive master. Yeah? And then we have a few who go to Bocconi. Master in finance, master in management. A few who go to St. Gallen, okay. A few who go to Polytechnic. Basically a few to Oxford because Oxford and Cambridge have masters in finance. In Germany, they go to ESMT. ESMT is not for the GMAT. And then we tend to have more who go to the US. In the US, they like Chicago. Chicago is an MIM and a master in finance and master in management. They like to go to Michigan, but of course it's very little. So I would say that this year we'll have completed, 800 applications for the top European programs. I think that you will have completed for the US program 50 out of 100, out of 800, so very few. So what do they want to go? Michigan Ross, because of the reputation. And of course they like also Chicago, MIM, MIF, it's a new program. Very few, 2-3 will study at Berkeley. They have a master in financial engineering, UCLA as well, financial engineering. A few go to Yale. They have a master in asset management. Few will apply to MIT Sloan with a master in data science and master in finance. Few as well to NYU, Columbia. Basically a few to to Georgetown and Boston University because they didn't ask for the GMAT. Okay, so basically that's what we have. This year we'll have probably 50 out of the 50 that will not be accepted. Probably 25 will not go because they want to stay in Europe. And so 25 will go. So I would say that we have 1 to 2 students in each of the programs. Huh? But it's a start. It's already not bad. We'll have this year in 25, we'll have 24, we'll have 25 students at Chicago, Kellogg, Ross, NYU, Georgetown, Big. Me, I suggest to European like you, Paul, go to the US. Okay. Now, of course, for some programs it's already too late. But of course, I suggest, for instance, to my ESCP students because we have somehow the official GMAT prep of ESCP, not officially, but we have a 50 per year, and they recommend us. So we say that we are unofficial. And I will say to my ESCP student, go to the US because you become, I don't know, from Germany, they have studied in Italy, Spain, and the UK, so still another country. Huh? Okay, because and also because salaries in America are much higher and career prospects are also much better. So, what's question about the school? Rade, you have question about. Also in India, we also have few students who study at NTU, NUS, NTU, okay, and a few who also have for the YTP program of ISP, okay. Alors, Rade, you have a question about schools. So of course we know the schools quite well. Rade?
No, sir. Currently, I don't have any questions.
Okay.
But I would like to congratulate Nama and Aryan.
Yeah, of course, they deserve. So basically, yes. Paul, you have a question about Asia, US, Europe.
Yeah, I have a question regarding schools. I wondered what was your opinion about the MIM of INSEAD and Saint Gallen. I didn't know it before, but I saw it on the rankings and it seemed really high, and it seems like a really good option in the German world. So I wanted to have your opinion on that.
Okay. Basically, we sent people, like 18 last year, but accepted. I think out of the 18, half accepted the offer, which shows that today it's not a competitor of HTTP. It's clear. So the prime is picking up. As you know, LBS, so INSEAD is very reputed for its MBA. MBA is one of the 5 in the world. So we said that, of course, so it's a program that I really recommend. Of course, if you can go there. And what I've noticed is that people want to go to work in consulting. They do really pretty well because they have a very good track record with consulting.
Okay. You're talking about Saint Gallen or INSEAD?
I'm talking of Saint Gallen, of INSEAD.
Okay.
INSEAD, very good program. Plus the program is really interesting because the first part of the program is in Fontainebleau, the second part is in Singapore. Getting many students after that stay in Singapore to work for 6 months because you can do a 6 month internship. So they finish in June. For instance, this year they will finish in June 2024, and then they spend from July to December and in Singapore. And of course, quality of life in Singapore is not bad. Many stay after that. Okay. Saint Gallen, for a long time it has been number 1. No, when that time with Saint Gallen, that Saint Gallen has a big advantage. First, it is a very reputable school, and second of all, it's very cheap because Saint Gallen is a state university. The WMD Center teach the GMAT at Saint Gallen. We have even a GMAT class with the Hochschule Saint Gallen that is taught by my colleague Nick Barnard. So we know the school. We have a very good result there. We have students from there. They at the same time, like AI, they go to LBS, they go to LBS, HCC, there as well. So the school is very cheap. Okay, because it's a state-owned university, so very cheap program. Very good. Okay, now of course what people don't like is that they don't like the location because it's not in Saint Gallen itself, it is in the heights of Saint Gallen, so you have to near the bottom right. I don't know, you cannot walk in the car. It's not easy to go there, not easily accessible. Like 3 or 4 months per year you have the snow. No, but no, I don't think, for instance, Nama who doesn't like the snow probably wouldn't feel at ease. If you come from Africa, if you come from Europe, I don't know if you want to stand the snow for 2 months. So it's a thing, it's a cheap price. And of course, the school is not very well known outside Switzerland and Germany. So if you say, for instance, to someone, I am a St. Gallen graduate, nobody knows what it is. Okay, it's very reputable in Switzerland, in Austria, in the German-speaking world. Okay, less so in okay, and even people who need a loan, for instance, Nama is the type of person who needs a loan. He prefers to go to LBS than to St. Gallen. Okay, and then there's another issue for the non-European or the non-bilateral countries is that it's very difficult to get a visa, and they don't give you visa automatically. That's why we have a few students who go there because the non-Europeans don't want to go there. Europeans come from African families. They really prefer to go to London, to Paris, London, and definitely. That's why there's less. So it's not the school, you see, the school that I would choose. If I was it, okay, you can always, why not, Paul? But I'm not sure that you'll be very happy there.
Okay, but how hard is it to get into? And if I wanted, for instance, to start working in Switzerland, would it be a good idea?
Yeah, it would be a good idea, because the school is very reputable. Of course, but if your passion is do you want to live in Switzerland, you want a degree that is recognized there, go for it. And especially, you don't need a visa, or let's say that you officially need a visa, but you get it automatically. And because there's an agreement between France and Switzerland, the fact that when you apply for a work visa, you get it automatically. It's called a bilateral.
Oh, for the work visa, okay, great.
Yeah, but there's no agreement between Switzerland and India. Okay, so for Nama, it would be difficult. And the second thing that you have to see is that it's like, I don't know, St. Gallen, where it is, it's like a village. You have to
Yeah.
you have to accept to be in a village for 9 months. And that's why my students, I always tell them, but you know, St. Gallen costs only 6,000 or 7,000 euros. And they never said to my parents that there is St. Gallen because they will send me there. Okay. So I mean, I'm close to my students, so I don't say anything to the parents. It's up to the parents. I put that to make a research, but they always tell me, no, I don't want to go there. Okay. So basically, because you want to have, you went to Madrid, they want a social life, they want to connect, they want to, they also want a school. Basically, that's something Nama that we hear a lot. They also want to impress their friends, and they say that if they have been accepted to INSEAD and LBS, they will impress their friends. St. Gallen, it will impress nobody. It's university in a village, okay, it's very, very well ranked, but nobody wants to go there, so yeah, you put in because they need people. You
But at the same time, if you want to get into consulting, St. Gallen is really known for consulting. And yes, if you want to make a career as well in Switzerland itself, then Switzerland, a school in Switzerland makes sense for you. So it depends really upon you. And yes, Dr. Hubert has very well denoted all the pros and cons for you. So it depends upon everyone's profile, what school to select. And yes, he definitely helps in that as well.
Yeah, you agree. So it depends a lot on the thing, but it's not you being French. So go to ESSEC, ESCP, LBS, INSEAD. That's the top 5 that you have to have in mind. Of course, there are very good schools. For instance, BAU in Valentine is a very good school. ASMT in Berlin is a very good school. But I would say that the French don't go there. Okay, and they know, since there are very few of them, they know that it would be difficult to sell the degree once they go back to France. But that's the point that you have. How do I sell this degree? You understand when you say, for instance, myself, I'm an Harvard graduate. When you say I went to Harvard, nobody asks you anything. I went to normal suite, I went to Harvard, nobody asks you anything. Okay? If I were a graduate, I don't know which school, I would have to explain, yes, but it's a good school in the country. You agree? So the school talks by itself. You agree?
Yeah.
Nama, when you say I'm going to London Business School, nobody questions you. Okay, wow. Congratulations. You say I've been accepted in St. Gallen, and they say, where is he? That's a good school, you know, the German like that.
Yeah. It doesn't have great brand equity in Europe.
The name to talk. Say, bam, I went to LBS, I went to HET. Okay. Congrats. You understand?
Okay. Yeah, I get it.
And that you agree, Nama?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
You're looking for financing, because it's not easy.
Yeah.
But you say even though I'm sure that St. Gallen will have taken you, but he didn't want to go there because he said, "What life? If I go, I come from Pune, which is not a small city. I don't want to find myself in a village,
Yeah.
in a village where I don't speak the language, so they speak German.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if
Even
you
though
speak
the
English, it
students
makes
speak
more
English,
sense
but
to be in London.
Yeah, because the
even though
location proximity is of utmost importance. Okay, if you want a job and you're looking for a job and you do your degree in a village which is very far away from the where the business is happening, and when the businesses are taking their employment for. So, for example, if you're in London or Paris. So companies which are centrally there in London or Paris would prefer recruiting from HEC more than St. Gallen maybe, or
yes,
companies like Barclays in London, which are headquartered in London, would take more students at LBS rather than going to St. Gallen. So
yes,
location
because
proximity
yeah,
is
that's something
very
that you have to ask yourself, with
yeah
which I'm not familiar. But of course, when I talk to students, basically the, the headquarters of recruitment in investment banking is in London. Okay, the Bulge Bracket
yeah
Bank, even not the Bulge Bracket Bank, even, except of course for the Franco-French, is in London. So if you want to work for Goldman Sachs, probably there will be someone in Switzerland who will talk to you for recruitment, but it's not the same as meeting the person in charge of recruitment in there. You see? I know because I've this time with my students who do the IE-MIF degree, well, some are very bright. They tell me that's difficult because they cannot talk to the head of recruitment of Goldman Sachs. They just talk of someone who has agreed to help, okay, which is not the same. So it will be the same thing. But of course, if you want to stay in Switzerland, if it's your dream, if you like skiing, if you like, it's a beautiful country, why not try? But don't put it as a first choice. Anyway, if you're an HEC graduate or if you're an INSEAD graduate, the Swiss companies will also take you.
Okay.
Yeah, I know the case very well because we are very closely related to IAC, and I see that my students sometimes they get INSEAD and IAC, and I say even if you're an INSEAD graduate, you have more chance, you have more odds of getting work with a top bank or a top consulting firm if you come from INSEAD, okay? Because simply the name is stronger.
Okay. And what about ESSEC versus INSEAD? Which one would you recommend?
Well, it depends on the person. It depends on the person. But it's true that, for instance, ESSEC, what ESSEC has that INSEAD doesn't have, ESSEC, they have many degrees. You have the choice. INSEAD, they only have an MIM. And the problem also that you have with INSEAD, it's only one track. If you study at INSEAD, you all have the same class. Okay? Whereas when you study at ESSEC, you can, they have different campuses and not just two. You can study different things. They have chairs, so it's interesting. But what is good with INSEAD is that you're going to study with MBA graduates as well. And you can develop an incredible network of other people. But it's true that I thought that INSEAD would take over rapidly because MD Center for 20 years used to send people to MBAs only to Harvard, INSEAD, abroad. And I've seen that probably the location, the format, the fact that you cannot take elective, etc., is a drawback. You have no elective at INSEAD. It's an MIM, you also doesn't have, which is, but of course, but if you get INSEAD, I would be very happy for you. Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
basically, me, I don't know if I had the choice. Let's say, and at the same time, what is a good MBA? You also depends on your good no matter where you come from.
yeah
For instance, if I were Indian, I would study more at HEC. Okay, if I'm a choice because I would say it's a 2-year program. I can build my network. And in France, I have a 5-year visa. The only problem that I have is the language. But I would say that after 2 to 3 years, I can speak French decently well. Of course, as
yeah
a French person, it doesn't make sense to study at HEC personally. Okay, go to INSEAD, or even go to LBS, or even go to the US. As a French person, go to Chicago. Makes more sense. In terms of opening, it's important. And just to see that in the US, most of these programs, Duke, Chicago, they are what we call STEM. So you have a 3-year visa. Okay. Well.
All right.
Well,
And I have
any other question? Yeah, go
I
ahead.
have a question for Mama.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So how did you choose to do the GRE versus the GMAT?
Okay. So initially, if you remember, Dr. Hubert, I'm just trying to, recall what Hubert had initially started with him, with me. I was pretty confused about what to take, and I started initially with GMAT at like other peers of mine. But where the, strength, denotes. For example, you need to take a mark of both the GMAT and the GRE to assess yourself at the start of the period. What I did simply was I, took the test which I was finding, more relevant and more quicker to adapt. So I found the GRE more quicker to adapt, and then I started with the GRE, and then that's how I selected. More importantly, the difference between the two exams are in the GRE, the verbal reasoning is a bit tricky. It is something which needs to be worked upon heavily before your exam. And while the GMAT is a matter of concern, you need to build upon your quantitative ability and your analytical ability very, very, very. Stable. So you need to build it on a very stable base so that you can ace the exam, because the GMAT is adaptive, right? So you need to practice questions of every certain level from like 600 to all the way up to 700 to 750. So this is the two main important things for you. How can you decide? Give just go out there and give a mock test or a test which can analyze your day one, or rather day zero, where you have to start from, and see what type of questions are there in both these exams, and then you can decide which one you're finding more easier to adapt. So that's how you decide.
Okay.
Yes.
And one is not better regarding the admission process.
No.
Like the schools
No,
don't.
no. There is
Okay.
no difference between the scores. There is no partiality between the two scores made in any business school around the world. Both these scores are even accepted in Indian B schools now, but more importantly in the US and Europe, top 10 schools have started accepting, and that's how every business school has followed them. So it is not this year that they've started accepting the GRE. It is almost half a decade now that they have started taking the general GRE test and accepting it.
Yeah. So basically, what happened for all of you, when you have class, I give the class, so I will rapidly determine if you can make it or not. Okay. Also, if you're motivated, and I will ask you to switch tests. Anyway, at any center, you can do GMAT or GRE, we don't discriminate. We have platforms, or we have the class, anything is necessary. And me, I don't care. But I want you to get in. So we said that the GRE is slightly easier. Okay. So you, for instance, Paul, if you feel not at ease, if you say I'm not that good at math, whatever. For instance, I would say that if you want to be sure you have a good GMAT, did you get a back S or ES?
Yes. So I
Yeah.
tried the GMAT questions. I'm really good at verbal, but not as good at quantitative.
So maybe for you, Paul, it would be better that we do the GRE.
GRE.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it would be better. Any
All right.
other question? Anshuman, do you want to ask the last question? Anshuman?
No,
Anshuman?
doctor, no.
Okay. So Anshuman, I hope that you're going to make it. By the way, Anshuman, you're also targeting IE. And so Paul, he did the IE, but IE BBA. There are many French, by the way, who do the IE BBA.
Yeah. From experience, I know that the MIM is a lot better because they give they actually have a real talent and career center, and they help you get a job. Whereas in the BBA, it's like it's you're not as followed. So many students, and yeah.
It's a bit yeah. So that's it. What else do I have for you? It's good for Paul if you need more advice. Kenya, by the way, you can always send the video to the people who wanted to come and could not show up today. Kenya?
Yes, okay.
And of course, You're welcome in class. Please, Nama, talk to Rade.
Yeah.
And Ayushman, please come to class. I need to know what's going on with you. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All